robots took my podcast, man.
Elizabeth on line 3?
Your ex-wife.
I know who it is. Take a message. Consumer Recreation Services.
Call that number.
Why?
They make your life fun.
I'll call them.
Do it. For you.
I said I'll call, okay? It's just that I hate surprises. What are you selling?
Oh, it's a game.
A game.
We provide whatever's lacking.
And what if nothing is lacking?
Admit to yourself that it sounds intriguing.
I need the police. There's been a break-in in my house.
No money, no identification. You are in a fix.
I'm being toyed with like a bunch of depraved children.
You're with them. You're behind the whole thing, aren't you?
What are you talking about? You brought them to me!
I am a very wealthy man, and whatever they're paying you, I'll double it.
Who did this to me? Why?
There was an incident a few days ago.
Don't you start that!
A nervous breakdown, they said.
I am very fragile right now.
Nicholas, you're not about to shoot anyone.
What do you get for the man who has everything?
Anthony, did you ever open that birthday card I got you last September? Did you call that number from Consumer Resources Services?
Oh, yeah, I did. And then I went through this laborious process, which included probing. I don't rather not get into. And then they declined my my membership or whatever.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, well, they rejected my credit card. Yeah.
What? Well, I thought this would change your life. That was it?
That was it, yeah.
What? Wow.
I mean, like, unrelated to this, I have been, like, kidnapped and left in foreign countries and, lost all my money.
Left for dead in Mexico?
I do that kind of thing anyway, Jordan, as you know, so I didn't.
That's true. For you people out there, Anthony will actually take his own vacation purposely to get lost and almost, found dead, basically. That's kind of something that's your thing. Going to, foreign country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Putting yourself in your own game.
Exactly. I am my own CRS. But anyway, yeah. But Jordan, is this podcast real or is it a game? I don't know.
I keep asking myself that, man. You know what? But the thing about CRS, they fuck you. Fuck you at every turn, Anthony. They fuck you at every turn.
Or is this podcast just a scheme to bankrupt me? Probably so.
Yeah, bankrupt you.
It costs money, yes.
Anthony Van Orton.
Yeah. Okay, Jordan. Shall we begin this game?
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. And welcome to our podcast, The Robots Took My Podcast. I am Jordan.
And I'm Anthony.
Anthony, what movie are we talking about today?
Well, Jordan, we are talking about 1997's The Game.
That's right. I gave you 3 choices. My category was Michael Douglas is a Victim, The Game, Fatal Attraction, and Basic Instinct were the films you had to choose from.
Yep.
And what made you choose The Game?
Well, I just saw Fatal Attraction not too long ago.
Okay.
And I mean, that's a good film, but I was like, and Basic Instinct, I hadn't seen that in a very long time. But I do recall The Game being intriguing. So I thought it would make a good conversation.
Yeah.
No, I think I've seen this once, and I think I may have seen it in the theater. I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to revisit this more than, Fatal Attraction or Basic Instinct. We just did 80s, man. Let's go back to the 90s. It's not, the 90s is like a comfortable place. It's like a warm sweater you put around you cinematically.
To quote the 90s band Weezer, if you want to destroy my sweater, show me The Game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. This is probably a movie where Michael Douglas is not as much the victim as he was in the other 2 movies, but he's still kind of the victims here.
It remains to be seen, but, well, what are your memories of this film? When and how did you see it? Or have you seen it?
Funny you mentioned that. I first saw this when it came out in 1997. I went to see it with my dad and my stepmother. And this movie, I barely knew about this movie. I'd forgotten when I went to see it. It was directed by Fincher, I think.
Yeah, David Fincher.
And then I was reminded watching the titles, and I thought, oh, I am in for a treat, because I did love David Fincher at that point. And we talked about David Fincher before, on Alien 3 review. But I will admit, I was a fan of Fincher after Alien 3 and then 7, of course. So this movie, I did fall under the spell of this movie when it came out. I actually wondered why everybody hadn't seen it after it came out.
Yeah. But yeah, Alien 3 we talked about. So go listen to that episode.
Please go listen to it. Please.
It turns out that was not a very good film in certain ways. So Fincher, if you judged him by that film, but I think now it was 7, the film before this, and now The Game.
7.
Yeah, he's finally finding his footing as a director. He directed music videos for many years before this. Before
Alien 3. And commercials, car commercials. And that comes into play here because car commercials David Fincher would direct was something like they would give him like $2 million and be like, you got 60 seconds to make this Ford truck look beautiful. It'd be that kind of deal.
He'd have 60 seconds to shoot the commercial, like, go, now, hurry.
No, not go. Yeah. And so David Fincher won the 60-second commercial contest. But yeah, like, I feel like the car commercial thing, the way he would make a car look, comes into play here with this movie, the look as well.
He's a director with a very visual eye, obviously, and gritty sort of subjects, interesting, I would say twists and turns, but interesting stories. You mentioned 7, Fight Club, Panic Room.
And funny you should mention that because Jodie Foster was supposed to play the Deborah Kara Unger part in this movie originally.
Yeah.
And apparently Michael Douglas wanted her to play the sister instead, even though Jodie Foster was like, hey, we were already in a movie when I was a kid where you played an older guy compared to me. Why would you want me to? What the hell?
Yeah. It's like a 20-year age difference or something.
Yeah. Because Michael Douglas was already getting up there in years at this point.
Yeah.
And he's trying to look younger still, somewhat.
But we'll get maybe into a little more into that. But then, Fincher directed Social Network, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, and coming out soon on Netflix, not a plug. Jordan, what are you probably very excited to see?
I am excited to see The Adventures of Cliff Booth. Not a plug. I'm just excited about it. Directed by Fincher. Written by Tarantino. It's a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, another movie we talked about on this podcast.
Yeah.
And it's all about Brad Pitt's character, Cliff Booth, the stuntman, in 1977. And how his adventure continues.
Yeah. But back to this movie, Michael Douglas's adventure in 1997. Cinematography, Harry Savides. How do I say his name?
Savites.
Savites.
You might have got that right. I forgot about him.
He did a lot of work with Gus Van Sant, doing a lot of Gus Van Sant films, including Finding Forrester, Dog. He did the cinematography on that.
You're the man now, dog. Is that movie?
Don't hate the player, hate the game, dog. So, and music is Howard Shore. And who the hell is Howard Shore, Jordan?
I believe one of his earliest movies that he scored was the David Cronenberg movie Scanners.
Ding, ding, yep.
And then later on, The Fly remake that David Cronenberg did.
Cronenberg, yep.
This is just scratching the surface. And of course, most famously for movies like Ed Wood and Lord of the Rings, that whole trilogy, the original trilogy. But Howard Shore has a very interesting score here. It almost reminds me, I'm going to go deep here. It almost reminds me of like the sad Debussy kind of classical music.
Yeah.
The angle he takes here. It reminds me of like Afternoon of the Thaw. Look it up, people. Debussy classical music, French composer. And I feel like that's the angle he was taking here, because all movie composers kind of take an angle first or get inspired by old classical music a lot of times. So
yeah, and it's
fitting.
It's very fitting. It almost fits in so well I didn't notice it that much.
Yeah, and which is what a movie score should do, right?
Yeah, I mean it's rousing when it needs to be, but it's not super off-putting.
Yeah. It's very piano driven.
Yeah, but it fits well. It's fine. We'll probably hear a little bit of that later.
Mhm.
But I didn't really notice. It didn't stand out because I guess this is such a visually engrossing and action-packed film, Pee-wee, that I really wasn't listening for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listening for the music. So my bad.
Like a lot of Fincher movies, there's some action here. So it's visual and action, what Fincher does best.
So anyway, let's get into it. Jordan, how does this movie begin?
So we've got a title sequence with puzzle pieces that is really expensive looking and CG. And then we cut. There's not a lot of titles. We cut right to a home movie flashback. And this is interestingly done. And this is where we get an insight to the main character, Nicholas Van Horton's childhood and his birthday, and how we see that his father is basically there and he's rich, but his father has committed suicide on his own birthday, on Nicholas Van Horton's own birthday.
Was it on the? I thought it was later after the birthday.
Oh, okay. Well, we get an idea of it later on, I think, but I felt like it indicated that, yeah, he had done it on the birthday.
Okay, he was the same age, but yeah. So 8mm home movies.
Yeah,
I don't see the mother much.
Yeah.
You just see glimpses of her very briefly, but the father is very distant. He just kind of like puts his arm around the kid and then kind of walks away smoking a pipe or something.
He's always smoking a cigarette.
Or
a
cigarette.
And it's like, yeah, he looks like he's there attentively, but not there emotionally, even in the home movie. The home movie is very telling for a flashback.
Yeah.
You know, it gives us a lot of information just visually. I think this is what's great about this flashback. And it tells us what we need to know about Nicholas Van Horton, the Michael Douglas main character. And the guy that they got to play his father looks very much like him almost. I don't know who they got to play him.
It was Charles Martinet. Who was the voice of Mario and Luigi.
What?
Yeah. And Wario. So yeah, it was he voiced a bunch of those voice actor.
Okay, we got to talk about Fincher's casting later on at some point, because there's some people that pop up in this movie that are like, you're like, Fincher, why? What made you think, like, where is that actor now? Anyway.
But yeah, anyway, so the father, very distant, and it's fantastic. It's a mini movie in itself.
Mm-hmm.
The father does commit suicide. Nobody knows why.
He does look sad, though, doesn't he? And he looks distant in his own way, as if he's depressed, kind of.
Yeah. And when he jumps off the roof, it goes boing, doing, doing. No, I'm kidding. There's little coin noises whenever he jumps. Anyway.
He does look like he's putting out a cigarette, and he's in his jammies and bathrobe. And yeah, we see that more later on, I guess.
It's like Tony Stark's dad is what he reminds me of. But
yeah.
50s dad. But you know what this reminded me of? Wealthy guy, kills himself, nobody knows why. Did you ever read that poem, Richard Crory, when you were in school, by Edward Arlington Robinson?
No.
Okay. Well, if you ever want to be depressed, it's a short poem. Go read it.
I read Nietzsche in junior high, but no, I didn't read this, Anthony, oddly.
Okay. Sorry.
Somehow I missed it.
Spoiler alert. It's depressing.
I read Nietzsche, Will to Power. Yeah, but...
And we don't always know why people kill themselves. And they can see, apparently have everything on the outside, but not be happy or not be fulfilled. And I think we see echoes of that in Nick Van Horton's life.
That's what I thought was important too. The fact that he's obviously wealthy, and you see that in his face just in the home movie. The fact that his father's not happy with everything. Yeah. He's not comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah.
You know?
So Jordan, real quick, before we get into the film further, who the hell is Michael Douglas, who plays Nick Van Horton?
Michael Douglas, came from this little acting family. His dad was this guy who nobody knew back in the day called Kirk Douglas.
Who? Never heard of him.
He was in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
That guy.
A big giant Disney movie where he played one of the skippers. Yeah. And I first became aware of him in my childhood from a movie called Man from Snowy River.
Oh, yeah. We could spend an hour going through Kirk Douglas's Spartacus.
Yeah. Spartacus, a Kubrick film. Kubrick, who we talked about on Eyes Wide Shut. I remember his dad, Kirk, from a movie called Man from Snowy River, where he has this great line, "You can bid the mob good day." That was the way his dad talked, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, his dad, Kirk, was a powerhouse actor, and Michael became like a later powerhouse actor himself.
Yeah.
He won an Oscar for Wall Street, playing a character much like Nicholas Van Orton called Gordon Gekko.
Yeah.
Very cold businessman. And I remember first seeing Michael Douglas in a movie called Romancing the Stone, where he was the Harrison Ford type, Indiana Jones type hero. And Michael Douglas was the lead and the producer on that. But Michael Douglas,
Turner, that's a great film too. Yeah.
Michael Douglas's earliest claim to fame was he was a producer on a big movie called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with his buddy Jack Nicholson, his ex-roommate Danny DeVito, starring in it. And Michael Douglas was producing, because that's another thing Michael Douglas does when he's not an actor, is produce big movies that he believes in. And apparently Michael Douglas became a producer and lended his power to this movie. And this movie also got a bigger budget when Michael Douglas stepped on board, apparently. Yeah. But it also brought Michael Douglas's power to the whole thing. So that meant if Michael Douglas did have a problem with something with David Fincher, he could openly voice it to David Fincher.
Speaking of, quiz time.
I went on a bit about that. Sorry.
Yes, you did. Quiz time. So, Jordan.
Yes.
Michael Douglas, as you mentioned, great friends with Danny DeVito.
Yes.
So they've been in many projects together. Can you name 3 of the films they have starred in together? Just 3.
Romancing the Stone, as I mentioned.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Its sequel, Jewel of the Nile.
Easy peasy.
And another movie that Danny DeVito directed himself called War of the Roses, which oddly I did watch right before my parents' divorce, or right around the time.
Oh, the drama.
And also starred Kathleen Turner. And apparently they were roommates when Douglas was early on in his career, and so was DeVito, and they both loved marijuana. And DeVito said that they were both herbalists when they were roommates early in their career, which I love.
The 60s. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, well done, Jordan.
Which makes Michael Douglas that much cooler to me, I will say, and Danny DeVito for that matter.
Yeah, I was watching an interview with him and Charlie Rose, and he said, I was just a hippie back in the day, like in college or whatever. He wasn't aspiring to be a huge powerhouse actor. Yeah, and so his character, Nick Van Orton, as you mentioned, is kind of like Gordon Gekko, who was the big asshole in Wall Street, the big 80s business douche in Wall Street. He plays a rich investment banker in this film, and Douglas described the character difference like Gordon Gekko was like new money. He's a yuppie or whatever, product of the 80s. Mm-hmm. Whereas Nick is like old money. He has generational wealth,
He's inherited, yeah. Whereas Gekko stepped on top of people to get to where he was. But Nicholas Van Orton has inherited all this.
But successful in his own right, driving his own success, knows nothing else. He's a very lonely guy.
Yeah.
He's divorced. He doesn't have any kids. He just lives for his business, lives to make money.
He's not an easy protagonist to like either at the beginning of this movie. There's enough in this movie that even though we see how sad his childhood was, there's enough to still turn us away from this movie. That's the funny thing about it, because his character is not very likable. And Michael Douglas apparently very concerned about this when he signed on to do this movie, because he said, I don't know who the fuck is going to like this guy.
Yeah.
He's not likable from the get-go.
But he's like, Gordon Gekko's like, greed is good. This guy's like, greed is okay. He doesn't have ambitions. He doesn't have anything that's driving him. So
it's just to step on the other guy, essentially, to get where he's going.
Kind of. But there's a shorthand that this movie sort of takes. And by that, I mean, Michael Douglas plays Michael Douglas and Michael Douglas's mullet play the rich assholes in every movie. Yeah. And he and his mullet were kings of the 80s, playing that sort of character, except for Romancing the Stone. There are exceptions. But he's usually the kind of douchey guy. And so okay, this is Michael Douglas. This is who he is. I don't need a lot of background, per se. Yeah. This is who he is. He's Michael Douglas. He's got a mullet. He has a lot of money. He's a dick.
But I'm about to be the victim, Kimosabe.
Well, I mean, you could almost take his character.
That was my bad Michael Douglas.
Better than mine. And I mean, he's almost the same guy in Fatal Attraction, really. it's Michael Douglas. Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah. He's a selfish guy in that movie.
Yeah, he just plays the rich douche very well. So anyway, he's lonely on his birthday. His ex-wife calls, and his administrative assistant secretary calls him and says, hey, dude called, and it's his brother. And who plays his brother?
Oh, Sean Penn. Yeah, this is right after the secretary's gone through a list of like charities for him to show up to, and he denies every one of them also. And then, even the other secretary wishes him a happy birthday because it's his 48th birthday, and he doesn't even respond, man.
He's like, I don't like her.
But yeah, his funny, wisecracking brother, played by Sean Penn, playing Connie Van Orton, has called with this crank call about meeting him for dinner at a fancy restaurant at Seymour Butts.
Well, who's Sean Penn for everybody?
God.
Who was frozen in ice during the 80s and 90s?
Most recently, he was in the Paul Thomas Anderson movie, One Battle After Another, playing a really creepy military guy.
Yeah. Played a lot of military guys. Casualties of War, Thin Red Line.
And in Casualties of War, where he's amazing playing this sergeant, that is very scary because his whole platoon.
Well, we're not talking about that movie. We're talking about...
Sarge, what are we doing here? Sarge? Sorry, that was my Michael J. Fox from that movie, Casualty of War. But yeah.
He also did Colors, Carlito's Way, Mystic River, and
Carlito's Way, another one where he plays the lawyer, this coked up lawyer in the movie who's very. I love him in that movie. He transforms playing David Kleinfeld in that movie. Man, I don't know why he didn't get an Oscar.
Yeah, and we also talked about him in a prior episode.
Oh, that's right. That was at Close Range.
Yeah,
co-starring Christopher Walken as his father, his estranged father. I'm your father.
And what I think is sort of interesting, and I don't know if this went into Douglas's process, as an actor. Mm-hmm. I think some of the things in this film mirror his real life sort of circumstances, right? Like he was going through a divorce during this film. So maybe some of the emotion that we see is brought out because of that.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he would later, about a year or two later, end up with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
After
25 years younger than him.
And it was all because his friend Steven Spielberg invited him to watch The Mask of Zorro, and he was like, who is this gal? Wow. Apparently.
And also, he has a brother who has struggled with alcohol and drug abuse. So, and I don't know. I do think that there's some things that sort of ring true from his life into this character. I don't know how much he used.
Speaking of, my dad and my mom were an extra on a movie that Michael Douglas's brother Peter Douglas directed called Tiger's Tail. And it starred C. Thomas Howell and Kelly Preston and Anne Margaret. And they were shooting in Sealy, Texas, and my dad and my stepmother were extras. And my dad remembered Peter Douglas's dad, Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas showed up out of nowhere and played an extra shooting pool. And my dad was in the scene with him.
Oh,
and my dad tried to talk to Kirk Douglas, but Kirk Douglas was so full of himself, he wouldn't give my dad the time of day. My dad was just like, I really love doing this movie. And he just he stayed in character, playing an extra playing pool. Anyway, good times. Name dropping.
So wait, your dad, they were trying to shoot a scene and your dad was fanboying on Kirk Douglas. Is that another way to look at what was happening there?
That was in the background, like in between takes. My dad was trying to talk to Kirk Douglas.
Oh, okay.
Who was playing an extra in the background. And because this movie being shot in Texas, Kirk Douglas showed up wearing cowboy boots and all that shit and jeans and ready to be in the movie. And, everybody was fawning over him, of course, when he showed up on the set. He was like royalty showing up to the set,
But an asshole.
I remember being with my babysitter, and she was like, hey, Kirk Douglas just showed up, so apparently it's going to take more time.
Oh, wow.
But yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
So let's get back to this film.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Michael Douglas, though.
Yeah. So anyway, he meets his brother Conrad at dinner, who gives him a card. And his brother's just kind of this, I don't know, free spirit, shall we call him? He mentions he's been in rehab. He's kind of the slacker younger brother, right?
He's been in and out of boarding schools and in and
Yeah.
out of colleges, I'm guessing, because at one
Yeah.
point he takes that stab at him and he just says, touche. But clearly his brother is a free spirit, like you say, and comfortable in his own skin enough at this point to where he doesn't give a fuck in
Yeah.
a good way.
Yeah.
He's somebody we all aspire to be like.
And he seems sort of surprised, like, what have you been up to? And he says, look, I just had this great experience. What do you give the guy who has everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a card for Consumer Recreation Services, CRS. Call this number.
Yeah, it's like a gift certificate.
Yeah, instead of Applebee's, which is what I get on my birthday.
Instead of VR reality. Yeah. The VR Play Center or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a profound life experience, you know? He says it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And so, you know, of course, Nick is, I keep wanting to call him Gordon. Gordon is skeptical.
Gordon Van Orton.
And then his ex-wife calls and says, hey, I just wanted to check up on you. You're at the same age that your father was when he killed himself.
Yeah, not to remind you of that.
Not to call you on your birthday and then drive the dagger in and twist it, but, you know, hey.
Press the shit out of you. Just to remind you that you're not married to me anymore and that your father also committed suicide on the same day.
He hangs up on her. He's like pissed off. He's like, thanks, bye.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's having dinner alone at home. He finds the card and calls. He's intrigued.
Yeah.
Then he goes to CRS and they have an office in this high rise. And he meets Jim Feingold, who is sort of, I guess, you know, a liaison up there. Hey, come on in. I'll show you what's going on with this. And it's played by James Rebhorn. And do you recognize James Rebhorn, Jordan?
Actually, funny you brought up Carlito's Way, another movie with Sean Penn. He was also in that movie, too, playing a lawyer who confronts Carlito a couple times in the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was also like on an Asper commercial back then. I feel like we saw him a lot in commercials back then, which they play into here in the movie.
Yeah, we see him a little later. But he's everywhere. This dude's one of these character actors that's everywhere in the 90s.
Talk about the
everywhere.
Great actor, too, and talk about the perfect everyman kind of quality this guy had.
Yeah. Unassuming. You know, you're like, okay, I trust this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, there's people putting things together, and he's like, come on in here, fill out all this paperwork. Mm-hmm. And Nick is not happy to do all this. He doesn't want to fill out these forms.
He even asked Nick to hold his sandwich that he just got.
Yeah. It's a power move.
which is like, yeah, I feel like, having watched the movie so many times now, I feel like, yeah, that's the first power move on the CRS experience right here.
Yeah.
It's before he's even signed anything that this is where it sets in.
Yeah.
You know?
Because he's a cocky guy.
Yeah. He's like, I don't hold other people's food. People hold food and bring it to me. I'm Nicholas Van Orton.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's like, what do you all do here? Like, what are you selling? He's just like, an experiential book of the month club is what we do. You know, we're going to, it's a game tailored to each participant.
This is where we get like I call it the Total Recall exposition. Exactly. It's kind of going to give you some hint of the plot that's going to happen soon.
Yeah. We provide whatever you are lacking. And to do that, to provide those services, you need to fill out all these waivers.
He says, we bring the vacation to you is the big, powerful words there that kind of cue you into this movie.
It's a very sterile office set, right?
Yeah.
And he goes through a psych test. He goes through a physical test. And the tests keep increasing, but he keeps doing it. I guess it's the sunk cost. He's like, I'm this far, I might as well keep going.
Yeah, it's almost like an endurance test. And the questions are like the kind of questions you get when you apply at a drugstore, in my experience.
Well,
although one of the questions is, do you feel guilty after you masturbate? What the fuck? That was never on a drugstore application. No.
The test administered is an actual psychological test, or at least some of the questions from it are. The Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory, the mental health test.
Yeah, and there's clearly a test of his endurance and a heart rate and all that, too, at the same time.
So they give him the test, and a physical test. And then toward the end, it's like a Clockwork Orange. He's watching all these crazy images and words flashing. And
yeah, this is kind of scary.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's all suggestions and how he's going to react to these images, although they're not peeling his eyes wide open.
Yeah, no. Then I think right at his breaking point, right when he's about to like just give up, I think that's when they're like, okay, you're almost done.
Yeah, just another hour. That's all.
That's it. So he wastes and he's canceling stuff. So it's already taken him out of his comfort zone.
This is like he's buying a car and more. Like how sometimes it takes a day, you know, when you buy a car, depending on the dealership.
Sign this, hold on.
On top of that being a physical as well.
Drop your pants, bend over. You know, it is just like buying a car.
A physical and buying a car at the same time, literally. It's like that's what this application for CRS is like. Anyway.
And then he's done, and I just want to point out for no reason that there's a racquetball scene, and I miss racquetball scenes in movies. Remember that, Jordan, when like in the 80s and 90s?
Oh, yeah.
There was
like
always
John Candy and Tom Hanks' Splash playing racquetball.
Everybody was playing racquetball. If you had a free minute before the internet, you played racquetball. Anyway.
I miss racquetball, Anthony. God, now I'm depressed.
Yeah.
And you know what? This was my 48th birthday, Anthony, and now I'm even more depressed.
Well, I bought you a game of racquetball for your birthday. That's the only game you get.
Oh my God, a racquetball gift card.
Consumer racquetball services. Yeah. Some guys are going to come in the middle of the night, grab you out of your bed, and make you play racquetball.
Wait! Oh yeah, I remembered. This is what I wanted. My life is complete.
They're going to like trank you, and you're just going to wake up, keep waking up on a racquetball court.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this movie. At his country club, he hears two dudes talking about the game, and then they're like...
Oh, yeah, in a locker room, and then he approaches them when they're drinking, right? In the drinking area.
And they're vague, but he's like, this one dude says, I was blind, but now I see.
Yeah, he's quoting the Bible, like the verse out of John 2:13, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
He quotes Pulp Fiction. No, just joking.
And then CRS calls and tells him this application was rejected. And he's like, what? All this?
Yeah, right in the middle of the meeting, which this is going to sting this guy because that's like one way to get under his skin. Secondary.
Yeah.
In his mind, he's like, I am Nicholas Van fucking Orton.
Yeah.
How dare you reject me from anything, even a stupid psychological fucked up game.
Yeah, he doesn't know what the game is at all.
It doesn't even matter what it is. The fact that he was rejected stings him. You can tell.
And so the game's over, and that's the movie. Movie over, and the credits roll, right? There's no game.
And that's it. Yeah. He learned his lesson right there.
No, the movie begins. The game begins.
No, this is like the first act almost over here.
Yeah. So he comes home, Jordan, and right where his father died, jumping off the roof, what does he find?
This is fucking creepy. He finds, it looks like a dead person at first. But it's a dead fucking clown, basically. It's not really a dead clown. It's a dummy clown, but goddamn, you almost wonder if they got an actor to play the clown at the beginning because it looks like he had a person at the beginning. It's very
looks like a
shocking
person.
to us.
Yeah, you're right.
Like same shit they did in I Am Legend later on, but it's scary. This side of Poltergeist is scary.
I was
1982 original. And yeah, he picks it up, takes it inside after he realizes what it was. And later on, he's watching the news after dinner, drinking champagne. Yeah. The newscaster starts to talk to him. And
through the TV.
Through the TV.
And this sort of shuddery, this is gonna age me, Max Headroom-y kind of video shudder. Or
Max who? What was that?
Exactly.
No, just kidding. I remember Max Headroom.
No, but I mean, it's just this weird video,
glitch kind of thing.
Yeah, like a glitch.
Glitchy.
Thank you. And he's talking to him. He's talking to the TV, which kids you couldn't do back then. People can, there was no video conferencing.
Not yet, no.
We're a few years away from that.
Yeah.
So he's basically the guy that he watches every day on TV is like, hey, the cable news guy is talking to him, said, this is your game. Here's the ground rules. Yeah. First, there's going to be these keys. Don't lose them.
Oh, yeah, because he pulls a key out of the clown's mouth.
Yeah.
It says CRS on the key very cryptically.
All the keys say CRS on them.
Yeah.
And he says you're not going to know where they come from or how to use them. And then he's wondering where this, how he can see him. So he's looking around the room and he realizes it's the clown's eye.
Yeah. There's a tiny surveillance in the clown's eye.
Yeah. This isn't quite science fiction, but some of the tech is not there yet. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I mean, I guess technically they could have done it, but I mean...
they had cameras that small back in 97.
But they'd have to be wireless, and then the whole rig to get the... Anyway. It could be
I
done,
mean,
but it would be.
The CIA had some technology back then in the 90s we didn't know about. That was
Here we
ahead.
go with the CIA having technology back in the 90s.
But this is partly where the movie kind of grabs you by the throat, nevertheless, because you're intrigued. You're like, what
It's
the fuck's
weird.
going on here? This is where the game began. What's going on? Anyway.
It's weird, and I don't know what's happening next. I will say, I mean, I did see this movie 20 some odd years ago, 30 years ago, whatever it was.
You didn't see it when it came out like I did?
I did, but I mean, I don't, Jordan, I don't know. I don't have the best memory, number one. And I'd seen this movie and I thought I'd seen it in the theater, but I don't know. For some reason, I just put it out of my mind. I just forgot all about this film.
Yeah. CRS made you do that, right?
Did I see the movie? I don't know. It was all a ruse. Anyway, so he just begins to start paying attention to things. He's in the airport looking at people just doing things and wondering when the game is going to start. And he goes to this publisher that, was a subsidiary of his company, and Little Bear Publishing, this little kids book publisher.
It's played by that great actor, Armin Mueller-Staller, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great actor.
Yeah, he's great. And he just tears into him. Look, you're missing your quotas, and it fires the fucking dude.
Yeah, and the dude is like, your dad and I used to drink together, and he's like, big deal. This is all about business, He's so cold about it, though.
Yeah. One of the sort of inspirations, I guess, that Fincher took for this film was from Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah, Van Orton is Scrooge, definitely.
Yeah. He's firing this dude on Christmas. It's not Christmas, but I mean, you know what I mean? He's just like heartless asshole here.
But he's that kind of coldness as Ebenezer Scrooge, I guess. Which, this is the Dickens angle of the whole movie of the game.
Yeah. And so he's at this restaurant, and a waitress who we meet later, Christine Deborah Carey Unger, spills a drink on him. And then he's just pissed off, and she gets fired, by her boss. Then a waiter slips him a note and says, "Don't lose the girl."
Yeah. And then the guy disappears.
And so he goes and tries to find the girl. And so he confronts the waitress, and she's like, "Look, leave me alone. You got me fired.
She just got fired over this. Yeah.
What do you want from me?" Then as they're talking, she walks off, and then a guy collapses in the street and starts having a heart attack, or I don't know, something's wrong with him.
Yeah.
So then he calls an ambulance, and she's trying to give him mouth to mouth. And then they have to ride in the ambulance together.
And there's this paperwork too.
Yeah.
And
Fill out
she was
paperwork.
quicker to react to it than he was. Although he did have some more of a reaction than he normally would at this point. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he could have just, I guess, walked off, and the cop's like, "No, you got to get in there and fill this."
Yeah.
But it's interesting because in real life, it's like, you want me to get wet? What? I'm get in an ambulance and just go. But anyway, they go, and I mean, this is really when they're sort of deep in it, and he's following her through all these different scenarios.
Yeah.
They get to the emergency room, the lights turn off.
They're just in a parking garage.
Yeah.
And everybody disappears except for him and her. That's the fucked up part.
Yeah.
And that's a part of this movie's Twilight Zone.
Yeah. This isolation that Fincher sort of keeps evoking, like it just seems like they're alone in the parking garage. They're alone together.
And it looks dank, and the lighting is cold. Once again, a Fincher staple, fingerprint kind of thing, which Fincher does really well. Yeah.
He's a visual director, and this is just such a visually compelling movie. Even if you don't necessarily like the character or get what's going on, it's interesting.
Fincher is like the Poe of filmmaking. His movies are atmospheric.
Yeah.
Visual and atmospheric.
And I will say, as this movie gets ramped up, it is visually interesting, and that's part of the allure.
Yeah.
I found myself getting sucked in here. Not quite yet, but a little later on, you really start to get pulled into what's going on.
I love that, like, in the background of every setting Michael Douglas is in, it's always cherry wood looking or mahogany wood looking settings, which evokes a lot of money. You know what I mean? And then anytime there's cars, it looks like an expensive car commercial. And it's like Fincher took that experience and applied it here.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of cars, Nick drives a 1995 BMW 740iL.
And it looks like he's in a BMW car commercial, literally. Like, they shoot on the streets of San Francisco when San Francisco is like on a Sunday or Saturday when it's vacant, and they get the streets all wet. and it just looks like, yeah.
And then later on,
Looks like money.
in a minute, we get a 1987 Chevy Caprice following them, and a friend of mine's dad had that same car.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up. It's just a boxy 80s car, and
Okay,
and that's for our friend Misty, who's into old cars in movies. Yeah, Jordan.
I have to bring this up. Apparently,
Do you
I
have
remember.
to? Do you really?
Yeah. No, I really
okay,
do.
Carry on. Carry on. I'm sorry.
I remember from Fincher's commentary on the Fight Club DVD. I used to obsess over Fight Club when I was younger, and I used to watch the whole DVD religiously. And I remember on the commentary, Fincher saying that one of the cars that was in the lot where Brad Pitt and Ed Norton are flicking the golf balls and smashing windows. He said one of the cars that was in the lot outside that house had a sticker on it that said CRS.
Oh.
And he said he noticed it, and it was left over from the game, and it was just like a big surprise. And Fincher saw that sticker on the car and said to himself, wow, this is never going to let me go. Just like the game all over again.
Wow. That's crazy. So they go up in an elevator. They find themselves in the CRS office. It is empty. And then the alarm goes off. They're pursued by CRS security and a guard dog. And they're running around fire escapes and such. And then they jump into dumpsters, as people do in movies, Jordan, from the fire escape. I mean, would you do that? Would you jump into a dumpster, a small dumpster?
I mean, if my life depended on it, yeah. And if there's, chicken fat in the dumpster, so be it, man.
I mean, you don't know what. It could be shards of glass. You don't know what's in there.
Oh, that's a good point. I never thought about that because I used to throw away trash from a bar I worked in, and we did have broken beer bottles in there. So
yeah, exactly. I
never even thought about that. Ow, and they do look like they're a good 4 stories up from that dumpster, right? So that's going to be a hell of a fall.
Well, it was a hell of a fall. And the actress who played Christine, Deborah Kara Unger, broke her foot just jumping into that dumpster.
Oh my God, she did her own stunt there?
They didn't do their own stunts, but she jumped into the dumpster, I think.
The dumpster. I guess she was
to
only
get
4
out
feet
of it.
maybe, but yeah. Ouch.
I mean, folks, dumpsters are dangerous. Be careful out there, okay? Be careful when you're jumping. And it's so small. It's barely... Anyway, don't get me started on dumpster diving. I have opinions.
So the logic of jumping into a dumpster. Yeah. But anyway.
Okay. So they go up to his office and she showers there. And she tells him, hey, some guy gave me $400 to spill drinks on you as a prank. I don't know anything about this. And so he calls her a cab to take her home. And then a hotel calls him and leaves a message, says, we have your credit card. The room is reserved and flowers for the girl. And he's like, okay, this game, all right. And so already he's getting a little frazzled, but he's still playing. He's like, okay, this is interesting. Let's see what they got now. He goes up to the room, Jordan, and what does he find?
Oh, this is like incriminating stuff. It looks like the night before he was there with Polaroids and cocaine and a sex fest going on between him and Deborah Kara Unger's character, possibly, maybe. But the thing is, you don't see her face in any of these Polaroids. You see a body that maybe might match her, so that doesn't help any.
I mean, it's a trashed hotel room. There's porn on, there's Polaroids and
there's
drugs.
There's porn on the TV as well, just still going. I don't know how. Maybe there was a loop on the VCR or DVD he was watching. Yeah. I think it was a DVD he was watching, maybe. Or
a VHS. Anyway, so it's a shame we don't have Polaroids in movies anymore. It's such a good effect.
Yeah.
Memento or maybe 52 pickup or whatever. There's just
the fact that you scatter it on beds or whatever and you see multiple photos. Yeah, it's a pastime thing for sure nowadays.
Yeah. So he cuts himself on the Coke mirror, toilet overflows, he's got to get out of there.
Oh yeah, because he's trying to cover it all up and leave there unscathed, and he calls his lawyer at the same time frantically.
Yeah, he leaves this fear and loathing in Las Vegas hotel room.
But yeah, he cuts himself as he's trying to empty the cocaine, and then the toilet overflows as he's trying to empty the cocaine to the toilet. And the toilet overflowing seems kind of deliberate, I will say, though.
All this seems deliberate. I mean, yeah, of course. There's nothing in the toilet, but who knows? But he grabs all the Polaroids, puts them in his briefcase, and runs. And then, Jordan, where does he go?
He goes to that same publisher guy that he was trying to make sign over into a whole severance package thing and close him out. I mean, he accuses him of blackmailing him.
Yeah.
He's got the suitcase full of all those Polaroids that we saw, those disgusting pornographic Polaroids, and he throws them at him, and the guy's sitting there with him and his family in a different hotel, and it's his wife and his daughter are sitting right there over lunch and tea and all that, and he's smoking a cigar, but the guy is cool. He's just like, no, I accepted your offer.
Yeah.
And no, I am not responsible for this. Maybe we can talk about it. You know, he's calm and he's chill as fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
You bought me out.
You bought me out, and I'm okay with it. You did give me a nice severance package, like you said.
I'm retired, dude. I'm out of here. I should have done this years ago. And then he's throwing porn pictures at him.
Yeah, and he's still chill over that. And it's funny because
so
he's talking over the same time, and the Polaroids are still laying in his fucking lap.
They're too
Armand
chill.
Mueller stalls. Yeah,
they're too chill because look, okay, and now that I'm thinking about this, having seen,
you think this is a part of the game?
I don't know. Maybe it is. Everyone's too chill. You come in front of my daughter and wife, and you throw a bunch of Polaroids at me, claiming God knows what. I'm not gonna be like, that's cool.
No, I don't think I would be that chill. I have a wife and a daughter.
Yeah.
My daughter's little, even doesn't matter what age she was. If you threw like shit at me like that and accused me of blackmail, I'd be like, how dare you? First off, let's go outside and talk about this because I don't want to talk around the ladies here.
You'd slap him with a white glove and say, I demand satisfaction, sir. Pistols at dawn.
How dare you? Yeah, we'll have a dueling contest. Yeah, exactly. How dare you, sir? Step outside, please.
And so anyway, but there's the scene also where a private investigator's following him, and he takes the private investigator's gun and just like... He says, oh, this is probably fake, and he shoots the tire accidentally because he all thinks this is a game. But, I mean, those are real bullets in that gun, right?
Not blanks, yeah, clearly.
Not blanks, okay? I'm just put a pin in that. And why didn't he go through all the papers in the guy's car that had, like, his file on him? He just, like, leaves the car and walks away. He's not very good at investigating stuff.
Well, he's new to this. He's a rich guy. He's new to this, though. He's thrown into this situation.
He's like, I'm good at looking over contracts and finding, like, problems.
I'm good at moving money, but not looking at things with a magnifying glass.
Yeah, I'm not a detective over here. So anyway.
And also, he, as we were reminded later on, he did sign himself over to this Anthony. So the fact that bullets in the gun are real is legally, no, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, so he's telling his lawyer, hey, because his lawyer was like, what the hell was going on in there when you throwing the porn pictures at the family?
Yeah. Oh, because he did walk in there with a lawyer, we forgot to mention. But the lawyer didn't only half knew what was going on. But now even his lawyer is like, dude, you're batshit crazy. What's going on here?
Should I be worried about you? Which is what my lawyer tells me about once a week, and it costs me $1,000 to hear that. Okay, so the contract he signed is invisible ink. It's all gone. It's blank, and he finds this crank, this handle, in an envelope in his desk, and so that's his next key, presumably.
Yeah, it might come in handy later on, maybe, possibly.
So then he goes home, Jordan, and what happens? What does he find in his house?
Are you talking about, OMG. This was like a big trailer moment, I remember.
Yeah.
But he's walking through his house, and there is black lights on, and there is graffiti highlighted, and it's graffiti all over his old inherited mansion that he inherited from his family. And so this is shocking to him, of course, and it's just... his house is huge, so he's walking upstairs, and at the same time, we're hearing Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit playing eerily in the background over all this, literally through loud amps and everything.
Yeah, and we just talked about Mannequin, in which that same band, a version of that band, Starship, had the song.
How weird that we repeat ourselves here with
Jefferson Airplanes. Yeah,
Starship in the last one. Still, it's Grace Slick singing again. Yeah. And this one too.
Anyway.
And she's like singing this song that's like Alice in Wonderland, which is a part of this movie kind of,
but that's a little on the nose. Speaking of fear and loathing in Las Vegas, I mean, White Rabbit is used in so many films to evoke that something is weird and trippy.
The rabbit hole, as they say.
I think, I mean,
which is such a common saying now with the internet,
Yeah, but I just think it's a little on the nose. And I will say his house looks like a rave. Like it's like street art and graffiti. It's fun and it's neon. It looks like a party.
It kind of reminds me of like the Neon Gang in Batman Forever. Like, anyway,
same universe. I don't know. So then he finds a letter that reads, "Like my father before me, I choose eternal sleep." And it has pictures of his father's accident, man.
Oh, I forgot about that
That's-
part. Yeah.
Low blow there. That's not cool, bro.
Damn, CRS, you went there.
Yeah.
Damn.
So after his house is all trashed, he meets his brother, and his brother says, "Hey, CRS won't stop. They keep tormenting me. I'm a human pinata. I keep paying them more and more, and
Yeah.
they just won't stop. And it's extortion. They're conning me. And I turned them on to you because they said they would stop harassing me if I gave them to you."
Yeah, his brother like literally crept up to the house, and then they got into his car because his brother said that we're wired all over the place. But then in the car, his brother pulls wiring out of the car, more microphone wiring, just to add to the whole fucked up part of it.
Oh, he pulls the wiring out, and then he finds a glove box full of keys, and he's just like, "You're working with them.
Oh yeah,
You know, you're conspiring with CRS against me."
Yeah.
He freaks out and then runs away.
runs off into the night, never to be seen again through the rest of the movie.
Yeah. But we have an opportunity for a good moment here when he
Yeah.
and his brother are getting into it to really air these brotherly issues.
It becomes emotional here.
But just for a second,
And his little brother says, "You resent me." And this is part of the resentment for being the little brother all the time and getting more attention after dad died and all that.
yeah. And he said he has an inferiority complex as the loser brother. And he's like, "And you became dad. You tried to step into dad's shoes and tell me how to live my life."
Yeah. Why'd you become dad? He keeps saying, like, why'd you try to
Yeah.
become like dad, you know?
It's a great scene. Hell, I would have loved another few minutes of just them going at it and them really like finding a moment.
I know. I agree. These are two great actors, too. Michael Douglas and Sean fucking Penn. It's like,
Yeah.
these are powerhouse actors and a powerhouse. I agree. I would have liked a few more minutes of this scene because it helps.
It really would have affected the emotional impact later on had we just sat in this.
Yeah.
I really think the movie almost gets knocked down to star in my eyes because this one scene wasn't.
I don't know. This did affect me because of later on. This scene and all the other scenes. But yeah, they all could have been a little bit longer. I agree. Even the restaurant scene could have been a little bit longer in the beginning.
Exactly, because this movie is all about him reconciling his father's death and his relationship with his brother. So why don't we spend more time with the father's death and
it's about him not being alive and not living his life properly enough or not being alive. Anyway, more about that later, of course, too.
Yeah, exactly. Minor criticism. I just thought we could have spent some more time there in developing that, especially, like you said, two powerhouse actors. We could have had an Oscar-worthy scene here. Anyway, but, this isn't Mystic River or something. But anyway, so Conrad runs off, and then the phone starts ringing. I love this. And all the phones start ringing. And he picks one up. And then here's the fight his brother and he just had. So somebody was like recording that.
Oh, yeah. It's like a surveillance once again. Yeah.
Yeah. And then a taxi picks him up and it won't take him home. It's driving erratically.
Yeah. And the cabbie jumped out, let him go into San Francisco Bay.
Yeah.
Van Orton feels like this is going to be it for him, but he's also reminding himself, wait, this is just a game. Surely there's a way out, and he reaches into his pocket, remembers that door opener, that window opener, and he attaches it and is able to open the window and swim out.
That was freaky. I love this scene. This is like intense.
Fincher does these kind of scenes really well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is like the car crash in Fight Club.
Yeah.
Where he says, you're alive, that kind of thing. But yeah, he swims out. I think he goes back to Deborah Carr Unger, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah. He calls the police and a detective shows up and then he and his lawyer are there. And the police are like, we're looking into all of this. The paint is like it's a foreign paint, and all this is very weird. There's nothing much you can do.
Yeah.
It's just there's no closure to it.
But they're also telling him you signed off on all this,
Yeah.
essentially. So legally, if you signed over to it, like if you were a guest on the show Fear Factor kind of thing or something like that, or you were a guest on the show Survivor, and if you got a scrape or a cut, you still signed
Yeah.
off on it, so you can't sue over the scrape or the cut. I think it falls in that same legal category. Am I right, Anthony?
I mean, it's attempted murder. He's like, but this is attempted murder.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cops are like, well, we tried to find a CRS. We went to the address you gave us. It's an empty commercial space. The county recorder has no registration of this business.
Oh, yeah. And we do get to see that they go to the same office spaces in that building where he made the deal, where he noticed they were there. And yeah, it's a completely vacant, gutted out place. It's almost like it never happened. So it's hard to prove that he was even there.
Yeah, and they're looking for the cab that was in the river. They can't find it.
Yeah.
And so it's all pending. They said there's no motive. And, hey, didn't you sign up for all this? And no. Attempted murder and things like that, you can't sign away somebody's liability on that level. So no.
Yeah.
Some things, yes. But even Fear Factor, I think they've probably been sued by people who, were too creeped out.
Oh, yeah. All those shows still got sued on some level.
Yeah, they'll go to arbitration or something instead. But anyway, and he's absolutely distraught. And then he finally goes and asks Ilsa, the housekeeper, about his father. And she said, he was just quiet. He would never even know he was in the room.
Yeah, and she says, this is like the first time you've even asked me about what your father was like in a long time. And
I still don't get a sense of who the father is. I got more of a sense of who the father was from the 8mm film before. But, I mean, that's, again, I would like a little bit more. This is just like if I'm eating a meal, just a little bit of salt. Just a few lines of dialogue can go a long way, and just having a reaction.
A little bit of salt and pepper for this steak that's really well made.
But I don't know. I guess it's there. All the pieces are there. I can't complain.
Yeah.
And who am I to tell David Fincher how to direct?
How dare he?
I know.
What does he know?
And what's interesting is the food that Ilsa's preparing him all the time, or leaving him half the time. It's like little kid food. It's like he gets a burger on his birthday with some fries.
Yeah, it's like simple stuff. Nothing complex. It's not like steak and shrimp like you would think, or steak and caviar or something. Yeah. No, it's like a burger, or it's like a sandwich.
A sandwich with the crust cut off and a pickle.
Yeah.
It just shows that I guess he's emotionally stunted from
I feel like that's telling too, though.
Yeah. The language of film, how a person takes their sandwich. Then he figures out where Christine's apartment is, and he goes up, and I love this scene. He's showing her photos from the hotel. He's like, is this you? And she's like, no, I don't know. Well, she doesn't answer him, really.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, well, let me go change into something more comfortable. Not change into something more comfortable. Just like, let me get some clothes on since you're just like interrupting me at my house. And he goes around the room, Jordan, and what does he notice?
Basically, all the books are empty, and everything looks like he can tell everything looks like it's set up by a prop person, like on a movie or something, or a TV show.
Yeah, there's not real books.
The books are not real. They're half cut when he looks at her book collection, and there's no food in the fridge, which it's like a tip off for him and the audience. Like, wait a minute. And his roommate that answered, by the way, we have to bring up, was Linda Manns, who we hadn't seen in a movie for the longest time. I don't think since the Dennis Hopper movie Out of the Blue, by the way.
Oh, okay. And she was the housekeeper at the hotel earlier that was knocking on the door. I noticed that, and I was like, huh.
Oh, was she really? Yeah. Same person?
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
But then he notices this price tag on the lampshade burning. Yeah, on the light bulb.
Yeah, which makes it look like it came from like a secondhand store, basically.
Yeah, and I love that detail.
Which would be a thing. I mean, hell, if you go back and look at the movie Close Encounters, one of the beds you see still has a price tag on it in the background. So a set detail like that, yeah, absolutely. A prop person could forget about that kind of detail.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the smoke setting it off from the price tag is what alerts him to it. And he picks it up and realizes it's not real. And this is more of a setup.
But what she does say is like, he's like, where are they? He's like, this place is fake. And there's a picture of her supposedly.
Oh,
and
yes.
It was just cut out of a newspaper or something, or a magazine.
Cut out of a magazine, clearly. Yeah, and framed. That's another big tip-off, that nothing is real.
Nothing's real. There's no food in the fridge. And I love it. It's surreal. It's almost like The Conversation or something. It's a surreal moment of what is real, what isn't.
Yeah. I guess CRS didn't see that coming, where he might investigate the whole apartment. So they just went to the trouble of decorating half of the apartment, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But then he did, and then he's like, "So what's going on? Where are they?" And she's like, "They're looking at you through the smoke detector." I mean, they have it set up so that like he burned his fingers, and then he goes to the sink and the water's off, and then he goes to the ice in the fridge and there's no ice, and that's when he really starts looking around. But it's like a lot of this is very specific, Jordan.
Yeah.
One has to burn their fingers to go through this whole set of actions, right?
Yeah, just like how he cut his fingers on the glass trying to get rid of the cocaine and it broke in the sink and all that.
Very specific.
Yeah.
Very dependent on him doing something exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Remember that. We'll talk about that later on. But anyway, so then he busts the smoke alarm. She's like, now you've done it, run. And then these guys come up, there's vans parked outside. These guys come out with machine guns and start shooting them, and they run away.
Yeah. These CRS guys with their guns, oh my God, their security is really really frightening.
Yeah. This is when he's like, oh, this is no longer a game.
Mm-hmm.
So they escape. And then he's in the car. He's like, what's going on here? She's like, look, they broke into your house. They got access to your computer. They figured out your passwords using your psych info. And then he's like calling a Swiss bank account.
Oh, yeah. His account's depleted completely, apparently.
Yeah, it's completely gone. And as he's saying the password on the phone, you can see her kind of like looking.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's impossible. He's like, yeah, your accounts are all drained. And she's like, they've taken all your money. And he takes her to his family's mountain cabin. He's like, how many times have you done this? She's like, I don't know, a lot. And he says he's lost $600 million. And this is what Scrooge, the reverse of Scrooge kind of happens. He's like, those are people's pensions and payrolls. These are my employees. This is my business. It's not just me you're hurting here.
That's where he stops caring about himself so much.
Yeah, and starts caring about other people, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And he calls his lawyer. He's like, hey, all my money's been depleted. And your lawyer's like, no, I just checked. It's all there.
Yeah.
And then she's like, he's in on it. Don't tell him anything.
Now, this is, I guess, back, when technology wasn't as ahead, where we could check our accounts just on our phones without having to call.
Yeah.
Once again, for the kids out there. This is before we had phones or cell phones where you could check on your actual phone.
Yeah. And as I do, I check on my phone and find that my account's been depleted. Anyway, and CRS has not done that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is when it gets really interesting. So he drinks the coffee, and Jordan, what happens?
He feels kind of like faint, and he's basically been poisoned by the whole thing, and he passes out.
Yeah.
Completely. Falls over.
Well, she drugs him.
She's drugged him, but yeah, she's basically drugged him, exactly.
And she's telling him, yeah, they intercepted your phone calls, and now we have all your passwords. You've been calling your banks and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to believe. Wait a second. Did he just fall into their trap, and all that was a ruse, that they really didn't steal his money, and now they have his passwords? Like, I'm totally like, what is going on here?
They were clever with her. I mean, I have to say, because she's acting like, hey, I'm letting you know the secrets here that they're doing to you, but she's not really letting him know everything,
Yeah. There's a paranoia here because you don't know what CRS is controlling, what they can see and what So it's almost like a noir film at this point.
Oh, absolutely. It's got a very, I'm going to go deep here again, Kafka-esque thing going on with it. A paranoid kind of thing about a fucked up game. Almost,
yeah.
How would they play with your whole life in this game,
And then Jordan, he wakes up in a coffin in an underground crypt in Mexico.
Yeah. And it's like in a place where there's this cemetery in Mexico next to some waste area.
Yeah.
And there's old car parts there and
tires burning. I don't know.
And there's tires burning. I think
trash is burning. I don't know.
It's somehow still halfway illegal to burn tires, even in Mexico. Apparently, they filmed this in a real Mexican location too. I think it's Mexicali. It's another border area though. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Mexicali. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was right then.
Look at you knowing stuff, Jordan.
I know, right?
So anyway, left for dead in Mexico, literally, and he goes to the embassy, and they're like, and tells him he was robbed because, like, what are you doing here, dude? Because
and he knows they're not going to believe whatever he tells them.
And so the embassy official's just like, okay, you got robbed, but they didn't take your watch or that ring or whatever. And it's just like, look.
Yeah, that expensive family watch there that you got.
Yeah, that was given to him on his birthday and has an inscription from his parents. And so
his 18th birthday.
He's like, a man with a watch like that doesn't have a passport problem.
Yeah, so he knows he's lying, but that watch is clearly his ticket out.
Yeah. So he pawns the watch, presumably, and hitchhikes back to the States.
Just barely grabbing a taco even to eat on top of that. One taco from a taco stand, damn.
Yeah.
So he is really feeling what it's like to be pathetic at this point.
Yeah. Completely disempowered, if that's a word.
Yeah. With no direction, home. In the game unknown, like a rolling stone.
And he's dirty. He's just wearing, his suit, but his suit's dirty. And he walks into a coffee shop like a homeless man. He's just like, or an unhoused person.
Yeah.
And asks for a ride to San Francisco. He's like, I've got $18.78. Can someone
somebody
take me?
Is like, is that Michael Douglas? I'll give him a ride.
I loved you in Romancing the Stone. I hated you in Jewel of the Nile.
You're dressed just like you are in Jewel of the Nile right now.
How the tables have turned for poor Nick.
Yeah.
And he gets home and he breaks a window, sneaks back into his house, and is out for revenge. And Jordan, he doesn't have a key under a doormat. He just has to break his window to break into his house.
Yeah, even though we saw him tap his security button at the beginning.
And that's the only problem with this movie.
But also, has anybody that worked on this movie never had their power and water cut off before like I have? Because they still give you a while of time before they do it. And I'm saying his hot water still would have been on, but you see him taking a shower going,
yeah, he takes a shower.
It's cold.
Well, I guess the power, I don't know.
And then the power's out on top of that. Come on. He would have still had they wouldn't have cut that shit off right away. The worst he might have found is some kids doing an abandoned video already.
I expected to see kids like skateboarding in his house with all the cool graffiti.
With all that graffiti, yeah.
Some rave busting out. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, that would be believable, actually. But yeah, him not having power and water is not believable. I'm sorry. Hollywood, try harder on that one.
These Hollywood elites have never been a month behind on their power bill, bro.
Clearly
never.
Not.
Anyway, so he goes to find Conrad in the hotel where Conrad lives. They say, oh, man, the police have taken him to a psych hospital. Then he goes to Elizabeth, his ex, to borrow her car. He is on his hands and knees apologizing to her for being such an asshole, begging to use her car.
But he's got his gun from earlier, and he's got a stash of cash that he had left in a piggy bank back at the mansion, more or less.
Yeah, basically. So who does he see on TV as he's talking to her in the coffee shop?
That fucking actor, man, from the beginning that was interviewing him during the CRS test, man.
Yeah, Jim.
He's on an aspirin commercial now.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Jim Feingold? Don't tell me you don't remember me, because I sure as hell remember you.
Everybody knows Jim Feingold, man. He's been in every aspirin commercial, man. I mean, come on. Nuprin. Little, yellow, different. Wasn't that him?
He goes to the Chinese restaurant where the dude was ordering his lunch, and when we handed him call back when he handed him the Chinese. Remember?
I said it was a sandwich. It was his Chinese food earlier. My bad. But yeah, the Chinese food he handed him earlier just sacked on him.
But what a memory that someone remembers where someone ordered takeout from. Maybe just knows San Francisco real well.
No shit. I could not
a
remember
month
that
earlier
far.
or whatever. Anyway.
Like, he did say there was a good Chinese food place nearby. So if I get hungry and I'm trying to progress through the plot, just in case.
Set up, pay off. All right, perfect. Filmmaking, yes.
Yes.
And then he sees the actor's picture on the wall. Like a Chinese takeout restaurant would have an aspirin commercial actor anyways.
Yeah, and it's like the Russian tea room, autographs on the wall kind of thing almost.
Yeah. But anyways, so then he follows the guy to the zoo, and the guy's there with his kids, and he's got the gun.
That's the other thing, okay, I'll say is unrealistic here. He gets this actor's phone number, acquires it way too easily. Like, agents would not give out that kind of shit. Even if even if you said you had a gig for them, they'd still take a number. They still screen you. They still take your name and number down and forget about you for a minute. It wouldn't be like, oh,
Yeah.
You want to cast him in a Dr. Zhivago remake? Oh, yeah. He's going to be so excited, isn't he?
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be like that. That's unbelievable, I will feel like. To where he could track him down all the way to where the guy's with his kids at the zoo? Come on.
Yeah, the agent would know what zoo and where. Yeah, and he was at the zoo with his kids.
He loves to take his kids to the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. We all know that.
It's the game. Anyways. I will say this right now. Spoiler alert from here on out. We're going to spoil this movie. So stop listening, watch it, and then come back.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want this movie spoiled ahead of time before you watch it, because this movie's full of twists and turns, which is the beauty of it,
So then, he forces Lionel Fisher, who's the actor's name, to take him to their office. He's like, I'm just an actor. I don't know anything about this. And so at gunpoint, it's like, take me to the office. He's like, well, they move it around a lot because, as we know, that's why the floor was vacant when the detectives went up there, because they keep moving it from floor to floor. He's like, they have the whole building. They just move it around.
Yeah. But he says, I want to see the man behind the curtain, because it's been Oz-like this whole time. So
Exactly. And so then he takes him at gunpoint. They go through these doors, and where are they? I love this.
Oh, I love this part. He takes him to the CRS commissary, where all the actors that he's seen through the whole movie are sitting right there. Even the guys that he saw in the drinking lounge earlier.
Yeah.
That gave him, and even the woman that was the roommate of Christine, Linda Manns, is right there smoking again.
This movie has a lot of nods to Hollywood, kind of like the whole, we were talking about the whole, and movie making, like the whole set being artificial. This feels like a studio commissary.
Exactly. That's what I mean by that.
And everyone's having lunch at the same time, which is funny.
And they're all dressed in their actual costumes. Which I love also.
The surrealness of this kind of echoes in my mind that TV show Severance. Have you seen that show Severance, Jordan?
I know of that show.
Okay, we'll watch it. But anyway, there's an artificiality to that show that this movie kind of echoes. Anyway, so, he's freaking out, and then he's just like, what the hell? So he sees Christine sitting there talking to the cab driver who almost killed him.
The guy that, literally that threw him into San Francisco Bay with his cab. Yeah. More or less.
He walks up to Christine, pulls a gun on her, get up, leaves aspirin guy, and now he's got her hostage, and the security guards come in and start a shooting. And then Feingold, the actor there, Larry Fisher or whatever his name was, gets hit.
Yeah.
And they run up to the rooftop. He throws a bar over the door.
Oh, yeah.
They're up on the roof, and he's got the gun from his house.
And she's trying to calm down and say, hey, look, it's all ending here. Your brother's going to come up right through that door right now. And he's gonna be ready with champagne. We're celebrating your birthday party, goddammit.
Yeah.
What the hell, man? Put the gun down.
Yeah, put the gun down.
Because this is a real gun.
And he doesn't trust her at all. Why not? She's been lying to him this whole time.
And how could you? You don't know at this point either as the audience, right?
And so the security guards, whoever's there, is like, they're cutting through the door, the metal latch of the door, the bar.
Yeah.
And he's got his gun there. And right as the door opens, it pops open. He shoots the first person he sees, and Jordan, who is it?
It's his brother, Connie. He shoots him right there in the chest. He's wearing a white tuxedo, so you see even all the blood. It's a penguin tuxedo.
Yeah. Shoots right through a bottle of champagne.
Yeah, and I do cry on this part every time I watch this movie, actually.
Yeah.
And then at that point, Nicholas is like, I have nothing to live for. So he gets up and stands over near the skylight of the top of the roof they're on, and he takes a swan dive into the skylight and crashes through it. Is this it for him, we think?
Yeah. Is he dead?
Is he dying? This is the way he's going, just like his dad at 48. He's committing suicide, but he goes right into a stunt bag that says X. It has a big X on it. X marks the spot.
Yeah, big inflatable
stunt mattress. Yeah, the kind the stuntman uses. And they peel him out of there.
Yeah. It's in a banquet hall, and you have some
and
paramedics or medical staff who are like, okay, don't get the glass in your eyes. It's breakaway glass. Get up.
But we hear the key words, breakaway glass, so we know. Oh, this is a part of the game still. At that point again.
Yeah.
He's alive. Thank God.
And then Conrad shows up. He's like, happy birthday. And he holds up a T-shirt that says, "I was drugged and left for dead in Mexico, and all I got was a stupid T-shirt."
This T-shirt, I love. Yeah,
this is your. It's a very oversized. It's like a 3XL T-shirt to get all that on there.
I cry even more on this part every time I watch this movie. Honestly, and then Nicholas Van Orton cries, and his brother tells him, like, "I thought you were becoming a big asshole." Like he wasn't kidding when he wanted to change his brother's life, and that's what I feel like. Man, this is like, it crushes me talking about this. But yeah, like I have a brother, and then,
Are you saying we the game? Your brother is your brother an asshole? Should we leave him for dead in Mexico?
No, I have a little brother. Like it'd be more the other way around. Yeah, he would give me the gift card kind of thing.
I would say you'd be the older brother that he's straightening up.
Yeah.
No, your brother would be like, he would have you kidnapped and taken to like a rare vinyl store that has like some like really obscure records.
Later on, of course, the funny thing, Nicholas's brother Conrad is signing the bill for the whole thing, and he's like, "Do you need help with that?" And he's like, "Yeah, please. If you want to pay half, yeah, absolutely."
He looks at the bill and he's like, "Damn."
Yeah, and then Christine is leaving later on, says she's got to go to a gig in Australia, and she's like, "Hey, you want to hang out before then?" And there's a slow motion shot, and you're like, "Oh my God. Does this mean the game has never ended?"
Yeah.
Like, is the game going to keep going on? Is there going to be a sequel?
White Rabbit plays again because she's
like,
"Hey,
you hear White Rabbit kicking, doon, doon.
Well, he runs out to her. Point of clarification, Jordan. It's important that he runs out to find her because his brother. He's like, "Where's Claire?" And he's like, or whatever her name is. It's not Claire. It starts.
Oh, Christine.
C.
Yeah, she's got a.
And his brother said, "Oh no, I saw her leave." So he goes out there, and because Michael Douglas has to get the babe in the movie. He's
got to get the younger woman. It's got to happen that way, okay? And she's got to be old enough to be nearly his daughter, okay?
Yeah, I know. And so she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to the airport for another gig. Do you want to have some coffee?" And then White Rabbit plays. And so, is the game over, Jordan? I don't know. Does it ever end? Who knows? I think it did end, honestly.
One can only imagine a sequel, what it would have been like,
So, Jordan, what do you think about the ending of this film? Does it work? I mean, this movie, it's a movie for an ending. It's like The Sting, that Redford Newman film.
Apparently The Sting was one of the inspirations on this movie, but no, I feel like it works. Now, you bring up a good point that I didn't think about until we talked about this, which is a little bit more stuff with the brother would have been cool in all those scenes. Just a little bit extra, because there was some stuff playing there, and these are two powerhouse actors. So I agree, but the ending does work. Absolutely, there's a payoff here. Everything leads up to this, and it's not like it's tacked on or anything. I think this movie's very smart, and I feel like it should have been more than it was, of course. But
yeah, I mean, it's a fun ride that makes you think. It keeps you guessing. I wasn't, even though I'd seen this film.
It has the same message as Fincher's other movie, Fight Club, I feel like.
Yeah.
Which is, here are these things to remind you that are frightening that you're alive.
Yeah.
All these things that are frightening you to death remind you that at the same time when you live through it, that you're okay and you're still alive. You live through it. You're okay. Take a breath.
Yeah.
It's that same kind of message of, are you living your life? Are you alive? Are you really living your true life?
His name was Nick Van Orton.
Yeah. Or are you just going through every day like a zombie?
Yeah.
Basically. Or as a consumer, as a zombie, or as a rich man who has nothing,
Yeah.
It's the same kind of message. Anyway.
And it's also funny how in Fight Club and in this movie, when the money is obliterated, that's when freedom comes. It's like the central message. We are tied to making money. We are tied. And that's one of the themes that Fight Club hits you over the head with.
Yeah, the Fight Club had that theme that Brad Pitt says in the movie, that the things that you own end up owning you. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a fun 90s thriller. What's good about this? I think great tension.
Yeah.
There's scene after scene after scene where you're just like, what is going to happen next? It's like that beginning with that clown and then not ending since then.
This movie, I'm going to make a bold claim. This movie does it better than Hitchcock.
Whoa.
It takes what Hitchcock did and does it better. Yeah. I've always felt like that about this movie. This movie still holds up, though, to me. honestly.
All right, I've got a Matthew McConaughey. All right, all you Hitchcock fans, right there. All right, Jordan's just expressing his opinion. But people can have different opinions. We don't mean that Hitchcock is terrible. We love Hitchcock. We can all have different opinions. We can all like different things. All right.
I mean, we all love that creep Hitchcock. He kept on living till 1980. Yeah. Okay,
actors are cattle. We know that too. Anyway,
Hitchcock thought of actors as cattle. All right. Just saying.
So, oh man, Michael Douglas, great in this film. Great.
Great performance. I agree, man.
Oscar-winning actor for Wall Street, right?
Yeah, it shows here, right? It's he's taking that gecko energy and applying it here.
And Sean Penn,
and Sean Penn is so great here too. I agree. Oh my God! And just a few moments, precious moments we have him in this movie. Sean Penn shines, man. It's like it just shows what power he has as an actor.
Yeah, and he's kind of taking a supporting role too. I mean, he's second billed, but I mean, hey, he has like 10 lines of dialogue, but he's just there, and he's perfectly supporting Michael Douglas's performance. And hey, Deborah Kara Unger, no slouch.
Yeah,
I thought she was fantastic in this.
I remembered seeing her in the movie Crash that same year, the David Cronenberg movie, and apparently a reel from that movie is what got to her audition, and apparently Michael Douglas thought it was a joke.
It was a sex scene, wasn't it?
It was like a sex scene, yeah, apparently, and Fincher was like, no, this is from a movie she actually did, but Douglas thought, no, I'm convinced she's good, actually. This was after they rejected Jodie Foster, apparently, right?
Yeah.
Who would later work with Fincher on Panic Room, obviously. Another great movie.
Yeah, and the direction's great, the pacing, the editing, the stakes keep raising, the story's great. All this culminates in this real big punch of an ending.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, now, what could possibly be improved in my mind, Jordan? Suspension of disbelief. I mean, you have to really... I mean, the answer to every question is like, oh, well, CRS did it, and they have lots of money, and they have all these people, and I mean, but some things like there are so many times like, are the bullets real, or did they plant squibs on the stairwell? And I mean, you can like sit there and it'll absolutely like warp your brain.
Are you criticizing the way things are done by CRS here on this podcast, Anthony?
I'm just saying it's ludicrous to assume that CRS could do this. It's like they're this invisible hand behind everything. I don't think it's possible to do all this. And that's when people will be like, well, actually, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I get it. But
I get what you're saying, though. It's like in a Star Wars movie, just constantly saying the Force, explaining everything with the Force constantly. It's the same deal.
I mean, like, again, the whole thing with him burning his hands in that fake apartment.
CRS.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Burning his hands in that fake apartment and him cutting his hands on the mirror in the hotel and all these things that have to happen for the next thing to happen.
But they knew because they asked him that one question, does he feel guilty after he masturbates?
You're right.
They knew he was going to do that, Anthony.
And there's 100% chance that he would grab the cocaine mirror, break it in the sink, cut himself, then try to flush some toilet paper down. Anyway, I got you.
Anybody that cries after they do the M word is going to do that kind of that's their behavior, Anthony. That's predictable.
They knew he 100% after he killed his brother that he would walk exactly to that spot and jump, not 10 feet to the left, not 10 feet to the right.
Because they knew that he cried after he masturbated, and they knew that was why he was going to do that.
I mean, you're right. Airtight logic.
Inappropriate.
You're right. I have nothing.
That was the question at the beginning. I'm just referencing the question at the beginning.
Okay. But I was thinking, like, what if the TV at the beginning, the guy who was talking to him, I didn't like that. I wish he hadn't set up the rules of the game. I wish it was even more murky. Or maybe he found a note that said something similar to that. Or I don't know.
I think he was early AI, maybe. And he was just dubbed. It was really early AI voice manipulating.
Yeah.
Maybe CRS found a sound-alike guy if they didn't have any AI kind of technology.
But it's things like that. Yeah. Did they set him up for months ahead of time, having guy put a fake broadcast on? Or did they hire that actor I don't recall seeing him in the lunchroom. but they might have hired the person who does
yeah.
the news and then had him film this thing. I mean, it's ludicrous. The suspension of disbelief is ridiculous, but I wish that hadn't happened. That's when he gives them the rules. I wish we hadn't gotten the rules that way.
Yeah.
I wish he had more organically found out about the game. Figured it out himself.
I mean, true. Okay, fair
For the
enough.
pacing, for the idea, I just wish that hadn't been the way that he found out about it. It just seemed too forced.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish there had been a better reveal for the fact that the game was happening. And Fincher himself didn't like the third act. And I agree. Like, the end is a little too cute and too wrapped up.
I read that too, that he didn't like it being so wrapped up like that, which I find interesting. I'm like, I kind of wonder what he would have done then to make it different.
I think it's tough.
Yeah. That's a lot of questions still, right?
Yeah. If you have the movie end where he shoots Conrad,
Yeah.
then it's a super dark, depressing ending, right?
Oh, yeah. And just everybody walked away and that was it. And he mourned over Conrad.
That's the end of the movie. You're like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
I'm going to walk off a building now.
The audience would have made even less money, I guess, than it did already on that case.
Maybe just dialing it back. Maybe the big stunt at the end is a little too much.
Yeah.
Maybe if he's just about to jump and then he hears his brother's voice and he's like, Nick, I love you, or something like that. And he turns around and he sees his brother. He's like, happy birthday. This is all a joke. Something like that. I'm not saying that would land either, but just the idea of him falling through it's a stunt at the end of a movie.
And it's funny, the actor guy said, it's a good thing you fell because I was supposed to push you.
Yeah, that's how they try to fix it. Because I think even they knew it was ludicrous.
Yeah.
So they tried to make it seem like, okay, this was all part of the plan. Like, you could talk about this movie and what was CRS and what wasn't forever and whether it makes sense or not. But that's just my thoughts.
That's interesting because, like, that does pull into question David Fincher's power on this movie. If they could only go this far in the movie and he wasn't allowed to take it even further and add another 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder what it would have been like if Fincher had had his way more on this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly he was at the demand of Polygram and Michael Douglas here.
Yeah. I heard he did quarrel with the studios as he did on Alien 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of, I wouldn't say exhausted, but I think another 10, 20, 30 minutes of these twists and turns would have been like too much, honestly.
Yeah, that's true.
You could even cut a couple coils out, I think, of this plot and be okay. You probably could have cut 15 minutes out and been perfectly fine. But I do think there's third act problem.
Yeah.
Part of that's the relationship isn't quite, we don't get the emotional payoff as much as we would have. I do think even Douglas's acting's a little tempered at the end. He's crying, but I mean, even at the end, we're talking to Conrad, he's not grateful. He's just kind of monotone and flat, which leads me to think that maybe he wasn't as transformed by the experience. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Now I kind of disagree with you on that part.
Yeah, go for it.
No, I totally think he was transformed. I mean, hell, he's got scratches on his face still from that, which makes him like even more look vulnerable.
Okay.
But I agree there should have been maybe more at the end, like to answer before he even got up to the roof, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you on that. But no, I thought he did come off a little more vulnerable by the end of the movie, I feel like. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Well, we're audiences. We're audiences drugged and left for dead in the box office. No, we're audiences.
Leave that in. Come on.
No, we're audiences fooled into going to the theaters. Jordan, on a budget of presumably, I don't know if this is correct, but $70 million.
Yeah, I heard they got that because of Michael Douglas once he came on. So that's probably real.
It made $109 million.
I saw that. That was domestic and international.
That's domestic and international. That's worldwide.
So that's like a third. They've at least made 30 million. They spent some and made 30 million, but that's not a big hit, unfortunately.
No.
I thought this movie was a bigger hit when it came out. Clearly it wasn't. No wonder nobody else heard of it back then except for me.
Domestic was 48. I mean,
yeah.
Fincher wasn't quite the...
It's kind of depressing.
I know. It deserves much better than that, I think. Audiences, what were you thinking?
Even back then, I thought this movie was so brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah, not quite the big hit one would expect for a movie, which I think is quite good. So, Jordan, what kind of rating do you give this fine film?
I still feel like it's a brilliant movie, and a good script. Rewritten by Andrew Kevin Walker, but I give it 9 out of 10 CRS keys to something else. How about you, Anthony? What would you rate this?
I would give it, it's a very good film. Let me say it's a very good film. I enjoyed it. It was quite entertaining. I'm gonna do 7.5 out of 10. 8mm, your father's suicide. Who keeps that?
That's a good point.
I want to give it 8. I want to give it 9, but I have to give it a few demerits for.
Come on,
the cheesiness of the ending, and I wanted more with the relationship, and I think it would have made the emotional punch between brothers, the father-son thing, just a little bit more at the end. Bit more, just a hint.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise,
I still feel like it's such a tight script, though, a tight plot.
Yes.
A tight kind of ride, It is a ride, like you said, definitely.
Oh, yeah, not boring at all, and just thrilling, well-paced, all that, yeah.
I feel like it's you know why I love it, I think, because it's like a really well-done extended Twilight Zone episode, like from the Rod Serling era. If it was like a script that Rod Serling or Charles Beaumont had tossed off to the side and not done anything with, that's what I feel like with this movie. Maybe I've been in love with this movie since I saw it in the theater, really.
Okay. Well, so for our next episode, Jordan, I have a few movies for you to pick from.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we might have a bonus episode in between.
Oh, great.
But the next episode we do, that would be about a film. I've been thinking lately, I don't know about Westerns. We haven't seen a Western in a long time. We haven't talked about a Western in a long time, right?
Hell yeah, Anthony. Go on, man. Shit, man. Let's bring it on, man.
Okay.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Okay. 1970s Westerns, Jordan.
Oh.
You got to pick one of these three to talk about next time. Number 1, Jeremiah Johnson, starring Robert Redford.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that movie. Sidney Pollack directed, I think.
Yeah. Number 2, Little Big Man, starring Dustin Hoffman. And number 3, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, starring everybody.
Oh, directed by Sam Peckinpah.
Directed by Sam Peckinpah.
Starring Chris
Christopherson and James Coburn. Choose wisely.
I'm going to have to go because it's been a while. I've seen Little Big Man. It's been a while. And I've seen Jeremiah Johnson. It's been a while. And Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, I've never watched that all the way through, actually. I think I'm down for that, actually. Let's do that one.
Okay. All right. Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid it is. So,
doesn't it have that Bob Dylan theme song?
Yeah.
Feels like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Yeah. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
All right. Well, that'll be our movie next time. Watch it. You'll be primed for the discussion. And if you like this, listen to some of our other episodes. We don't always talk about Michael Douglas movies or 90s thrillers.
Not enough, at least, I guess.
Yeah. And please, we're just a little podcast. We need your help. So hit the likes, the subscribes, all the good buttons. And we really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this, tell your kids, tell your wife, tell that
person that's pointing at the ink stain in your pocket. Tell that person to listen to our podcast. Yes.
Tell that waitress you have at gunpoint who you think is in a conspiracy against you that you like this podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening again. We appreciate it. Jordan, this has been...
The robots took my podcast. I'm extremely fragile right now.
All trailers, clips, music, or any other copyrighted material are used sparingly, edited from their original forms, and used for the purposes of criticism, discussion, commentary, and education about these fine films.